Okay, so first up we have got Evelyn Keaveney. So she is going to be talking thawing permafrost, a ticking carbon bomb. So Evelyn's research looks at carbon loss from ground around lakes and where it ends up. So she focuses on permafrost loss. As it thaws, it's unleashing a flood of carbon that could supercharge climate change. But where does all of it go? So Evelyn's research digs deep, literally, into this question. And tonight she is going to tell you a little bit more about her research. So please welcome Evelyn.
So, I bet you just think this is a lump of mud and peat, and you'd be right. But what if I can also tell you that this spans 1,000 years? At the bottom, that carbon was laid down when Brian Boru was fighting the Vikings, and it was stored then. Say up here, Columbus discovered America. Up here, the Titanic sank. Now you can see here the different colours. Dark brown at the bottom where it's been stored for 1,000 years. Up here you can see the impact of human intervention. Peat cutting, destroying the carbon or destroying the area, habitat destruction, and all of this releases carbon into the atmosphere and into the surrounding areas. I'm Dr. Evelyn Keaveney, and I look at carbon coming from thawing permafrost. I will be going to Alaska in the Arctic to look at some permafrost cores and the lakes surrounding those permafrost cores, because I want to find out where the carbon that's released goes. With permafrost, we not only have human intervention, we have climate change. So as temperatures are rising, permafrost is thawing. And as permafrost is thawing, water is coming out, and water is travelling out. Where is it going? So I'll be going to look at these lakes, and I actually look at the bottom of the lake in the mud or the sediment. And I use radiocarbon dating to identify the permafrost carbon in the lake sediment. So I can see whether it has been stored again and locked away, and all is good, we're all grand. But there is a different pathway. So it can actually dissolve in the water and be consumed by bacteria and converted into greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, which is emitted to the atmosphere. And if it's emitted to the atmosphere, what does it do? It accelerates climate change. So it's a vicious cycle, and we don't understand it. So, why is this important? Well, permafrost actually stores twice the amount of carbon that's in our atmosphere right now. So we can look at the weather right now. We can see floods, we can see wildfires, we can see high temperatures, low temperatures, we can see storms that rip our roof tiles off, we can see monsoons that are destroying areas of the Pacific. That's now. What happens if this carbon bomb is released? There will be climate chaos. So there is a little bit of hope. My research has shown before that nutrients, little bits of molecules that support the food webs in these lakes, and they drive carbon burial. So we can manage these lakes and the nutrient content in these lakes and cause the lakes to bury more carbon. So if this permafrost is degrading, maybe lakes can be managed to bury the carbon instead of emitting it to the atmosphere. Thank you. I was about to lag it there.
Thank you so much. We are going to go. That was a fascinating start. Really, really good. Twice as much of the permafrost. I had no idea about that. That is brilliant. So hope. Sorry, that is fascinating. Sorry, Freudian slip. Hope in climate chaos. I was a wee bit triggered when you said about the roof tiles. Anybody affected by the storm there a few weeks ago? Yeah, the storm was on a Friday. I didn't know it was coming. Do you know what I got built on the Wednesday? A huge pergola in my back garden. So it's now my next door neighbour's garden. So. Vic, do you have a question you want to kick off with? Barry, if we get the mic on.
I'd just love to know what got you interested in permafrost in the first place. Where does this come from?
Well, my original research was in lakes, and I have worked in Lough Erne. I've done a little bit of work in Lough Neagh, and I found that the nutrients were driving the carbon burial. And I thought, right, there's a lot of degrading areas in Northern Ireland, but a lot of people are working in that. But a lot of the work in permafrost in the Arctic is on the gaseous emissions, and that's included in carbon models. But the stuff coming out in the water, it's not included in any carbon model. So people don't know, it's not counting. And the fact that we are, seeing all these changes happening way quicker than were predicted, there's all these carbon sources all over the world that scientists just don't know about. So that's why.
Thank you so much. Aaron, do you have a question?
I do. Lovely talk. Want to learn, so you're saying then we can do something potentially to help this carbon burial a bit? Is this something that, if you had £1 trillion today, that we could start doing something? I know we're not ready, maybe there with the research, but what are the steps then if this is maybe a future for? What is going to be the biggest problem we have going forward?
Well, the biggest problem we have is if all the permafrost thaws. Now, a lake is not going to bury all of that carbon. But if it is thawing slowly, if we are trying to mitigate it and stopping all of it from thawing, maybe lakes can be managed to keep the nutrient levels at an optimal value that will bury the carbon rather than recycle it and emit it to the source, to the atmosphere.
Thank you so much. Okay, brilliant. Another round of applause for Evelyn, please. Thank you.